All right, so big road announcements there, and of course cleaning up of lakes, which we demanded yesterday from the government in Bangalore. So we've had some good news. Of course, on the channel we'll be tracking to see how that money is spent, because it's not just about allocation, it's actually about utilizing it on the ground. And this is the channel where the focus really is urban development. We have to turn our eyes now on the real estate regulator. Remember, it's been about a week or so since we saw the real estate bill become law. Home buyers across the country, of course, are wondering how this new law is going to impact their next home buy, and what exactly does this mean to have a regulator. What we're going to do today on the Urban Debate is we're going to find out how the real estate bill empowers you as a home buyer, focusing specifically just on you. I've put together a special panel of experts to help us understand ARERA's focus on you. Joining me today, of course, in the studio, Uday Vavekar, an expert on consumer rights. Uday, thank you so much for joining us. Arun Kumar, a developer from Chennai, joined us. It's nice to have a developer from Chennai, Arun. We rarely have representation from the city, so I'm really glad to have you on the show. Kuldeep Chawla will be joining us in a little while to also give us an investment idea. Uday Vavekar, I had my entire team of people on this channel sit and read through the letter of the actual text of that bill, and it's about 40 pages. And to me, the thing that strikes me the most is here is a bill that puts the home buyer at the very center of its entire execution. It is written for the home buyer in every possible way. To me, the biggest thing, of course, will be the empowerment that comes from information. The fact that we can go online and find out everything that needs to be found out about a developer and the project that we're considering. This portion that mandates developers to put everything online, I just want to understand one thing from you. Will all of that information be regularly verified by the regulatory authority? How will that work?
That is what is actually expected, because they have said, and this is the idea, that within 1 month, it will take at least 1 month to 6 months for registration and clearance of the project. So that is going to be done definitely. Faye, I really agree with you, because a lot of transferences is going to come when it is online.
Yes.
Another thing is it will be recorded. So if there are any false statement made, or mischievous statement made, or advertising gimmicks are done, or dreams are sold, then they can be pulled under the various laws, especially under the Consumer Protection Act also, for unfair trade practices.
Yes.
And this is going to be a big thing, because DLF, if you know, for making an agreement which clauses which are really unconscionable clauses against consumers or the buyers, flat buyers, the Competition Commission gave them crores of rupees penalty, and then Supreme Court confirmed crores of rupees penalty.
Yes.
So here, if there is a misstatement, they will be criminally, they can be prosecuted, because it will be a public statement. Secondly, consumer forums are not going to leave them, and the bill says consumer forums are an option, which is very good and welcome step, that civil court maybe no, but consumer forum and the authority yes. So therefore, and consumer forums, why strong? Because they have teeth to bite. The reason is even if an
but Uday Vavekar, this is very interesting, and we've been talking about this for a while. Consumer forum normally takes 3 years, 4 years, 5 years to give out a verdict. The Real Estate Appellate Tribunal, for those of our viewers who joined us right now, the real estate regulator, there will be one regulator set up in every state. That regulator will also have a court that comes with it. That court will hear purely and exclusively real estate cases. And it says in the bill that the court will have to give verdicts in 60 days. Now, as a consumer, that sounds fantastic to me, because going from 4 or 5 years that it takes to get a verdict out of consumer court to 60 days sounds like a great idea both for consumers and for industry. How is that possible though? How can this court hear and give a verdict in 60 days?
That's a directive principle, Faye. If you look at the Consumer Act, the directive principle is 90 days. So for 90 days, because of lack of infrastructure, we have gone to average 4 years and 5 years, and I agree.
So there's a possibility, of course, that this court will also wind up in the
same possibility here. But the advantage in consumer forum is they have now introduced interim relief application. So on the core issues, and I'll give a concrete example to you. In one case against a builder of Powai, we filed an interim relief for occupation certificate. Within 3 months, the court granted us a filing of the case, the order, interim order, that he should provide an occupation certificate within 6 months. If not given, he can go to the jail by filing an execution.
Correct.
And we got it. I mean, so interim relief is a big
Interim
weapon.
relief is possible. You know, for our viewers at home, hashtag RERA 101. We're going to have to get used to the word RERA, R-E-R-A. That's the Real Estate Regulatory Authority. It's going to become, you know, it's going to become a reality fairly soon. If you have a question about how that authority will work, or if you have a question about a case that you're facing right now, and you want to know what happens to it once the regulator comes in, then tweet out hashtag RERA 101, or we'll open up our phone lines and you can get in touch with us, pick up the phone and call us. So here's the first rule, and looking through the, you know, the entire bill, the first rule of course is that all developers, before they start to sell anything at all, have to first register the project, not the developer himself, but register the project with the regulator in the state. Now this means you have to give in all the details, what permissions they have, who owns the land, what sort of financing they have on that project, what kind of units are available, and on a quarterly basis this information has to be updated. So update how much you've sold, update what is booked. Arun Kumar, that's a huge task for all developers, but I'm excited as a buyer, it gives me that kind of information. But do you think that, you know, there'll be a bit of a hiccup to at least get started, because that kind of information disclosure is not something the real estate industry is used to?
See, first and foremost, we'll have to understand that this bill has to be appreciated by everybody, including the builder fraternity. It is not only from the consumer point of view, even we do get benefited if we have the right practices. Having said that, obviously it does throw a newer layer of processes which could be initially having a lot of glitches because it is might not be well lubricated as a process. But having said that, it could take some bit of a time in terms of the registration of each of the projects. But after it is done, it could throw so much more clarity to the end consumers, and you know, that could give enormous comfort for the consumers who possibly have been sitting on the edge of the wall at this moment when the market has been a lot more slower to come and buy, because when it's so much more transparent. In fact, real estate has a broad allegation that it's been a pretty opaque as an industry, but when it gets more and more transparent and it gets thoroughly clear to everybody in terms of how the project is and what the project is and what are the commitments from the builder, which is being ratified by the government authority, you know, it could go a long way in opening out a lot better opportunity and visibility for the consumers.
A lot better opportunity and visibility for the consumers. The thing, of course, that we should remember as consumers is not only do all developers have to register with, with the regulator, all agents will also have to register, which means that now this regulator will also look at the possibility of agents making false promises, misrepresenting what they're selling, printing material that's not necessarily true. And this is a large portion of the industry that's largely gone unregulated and is unorganized. To bring them under the purview as well will also be massively, empowering for all customers. Uday Vavekar, I have a question for you, and I know there are a lot of viewers on this channel who have cases that are currently pending in, say, consumer court or in any other civil court against some developer or the other. When the real estate regulator comes into force in their respective states, the bill says that the cases can be transferred to the appellate tribunal. Tell us how that will work, and tell me if you recommend it.
See, the question is, every state will have a regulator, and then from the regulator, if they are saying that it could be transferred to the appellate tribunal, we'll have to really wait and watch what are the rules and regulations which are going to come, because generally if the cases are pending for more time, there is a provision in certain laws, including the Bar Association proceedings. Suppose your complaint against an advocate is pending more than 1 year, it is transferred automatically to the National Bar Association. So to that extent, if there is something that more than 60 days or more than 2 years, 1 year, the case is not there, it can go to appellate authority, transferred automatically. I think, but then again, how fast will be the appellate authority? That would be depending on the infrastructure provided. Because ultimately the efficiency of a judge is to the extent of infrastructure and to the extent of complaints that are going to come. Imagine about if there are about a complaint coming to a state level tribunal to the extent of about 40-50,000 in the first 3 months or 4 months or even 30,000, the huge load is going to come, and how many panelists can really deal with it? So I'm just giving you because this is exactly what
There are
happened.
some challenges in the
Yeah,
system.
there are a lot of infrastructural challenges, though there are retired judges would come. Now, again, with all due respects, what would be the time given and the commitment given? Because if you have 3 panels, 4 panels, I mean, I'm talking of benches, then it is something worth. Look at the Mumbai's population for that example alone with the Maharashtra. The state commission had a typical problem. There was only one state commission of 3 members, and Delhi's 40 appeals used to come and 10 complaints, including 1 medical negligence. Imagine how much time the judges can give it.
In fact, Uday Vavekar, Jitendra has called us from Mumbai right now. He has a question for you.
Yes.
Let's take that question. Jitendra, go ahead. What's your question?
Yeah, these big builders have got a battery of lawyers. How can small investors or home users deal with such things? Practically, biggest builders are the defaulters if you see. If I can take a name,
Yes, please, please, don't shy away from taking names on this channel. We're an open channel. Go ahead.
Developed at Orchard Residency at Ghatkopar. He
Okay.
had shortchanged everybody. His previous project in Mulund also the same thing. Matters are in court. Now you can see what is happening. The big builders, in fact, small builders are cooperative. In fact, but
Okay.
big builders are the biggest defaulters. How will it help us? Because they got a battery of lawyers.
Yeah. A battery of lawyers. You know why Uday Vavekar is smiling, right? Because sometimes he argues on the other side as well, not necessarily only on the side of consumers. But Uday Vavekar, this is true. I'll tell you this, that because there's such a large amount of litigation in the area of real estate, developers are comfortable with the idea of court. They have lawyers on retainers that are constantly fighting their battles. Whereas for an average consumer, the idea of going to court itself is alien. How does someone who's sitting at home, who's worried about having to still go to work, I don't want to have to take a day off work and, meet with my lawyer, get into this whole consumer court, hearing after hearing, date after date. How do we battle the battery of lawyers that developers come with?
The object of the act, both the acts, consumer as well as the RERA, is, as you rightly said in the beginning, keeping consumer or purchaser at the center. The moment the fact is, therefore the law is for the consumers, in Consumer Act as well as in RERA, it is for the real estate purchaser, person who is going to buy. Now when he is a focused person, ultimately even the judges who are sitting are expected to be inquisitorial, and this is the word used by Justice M.B. Shah when he was the president of Consumer Court, National Commission after the Supreme Court. And he said this law is a preponderance of probability law. And the judges must have X-ray vision. They must not go by what is there on the record, but they must ask questions to both the parties to find out the truth and find out the market practices, because every builder, I mean, it is expected, some builders do not give receipts for the money, I am putting it little mildly. So there are ratios of 60-40, even if a judge goes to buy, he may have to even do that. So this is something called a judicial note. You know this is a market practice. And therefore, though there is no receipt given, and if I pay 10 lakh rupees to a builder, agreement is of 6 lakhs, then while considering the compensation today, the consumer courts are considering market value. So therefore, you are equated, and don't get scared. If you have the guts, you have good lawyers. I am not saying me is one, but there are lawyers who are fighting for consumers, fighting for right cause, and saying I appear for builders also. Yes, when there is a misuse and abuse of the act, I have to do it.
All right. I also want to bring in Arun here. Arun, as a large developer yourself, you're one of the most well-known names in the city of Chennai. I have the same question for you. For buyers who possibly feel that they've been cheated across the country, who feel that it's too difficult to go up against a developer, what advice would you give them? For a minute there, put yourself in somebody else's shoes and tell us what advice you'd give a buyer right now who's worried about how they're going to get justice.
See, first and foremost, no doubt this does offer a logical recourse, and it is a very powerful one at the moment. But having said that, I would always believe and encourage every consumer who possibly has an issue with a builder, he's bought something and he's got into any kind of dispute, to resolve it and find ways to solve this amicably. Because of this act, it should not lead to a point where they immediately start kind of driving a path of primary hostility or a kind of a fight, a legal tussle whatsoever. I would always recommend that as a first recourse. Having said that, if at all it does somewhere doesn't get resolved, I don't think anybody, any consumer whatsoever, a home buyer should be worried about this whatsoever, to take this head on with the builder, because whatever it is, actually the law actually is protecting the consumer very strongly, and the RERA is coming very focused towards the support of a home buyer. So having said that, I don't think they need to get intimidated by the battery of advocates or the lawyers which a big real estate developer could have, because obviously there is enough transparency which has to be exhibited by the builder when the whole registration of the project happens. When that has happened, there is a logical comparison of what possibly has gone wrong or what possibly is the point of dispute, and if that dispute can be established, I'm sure they can find a fair judgment in their favor. So I don't think they should be intimidated by the builders whatsoever. And having said that, I would also just want to tell you that yes, there are enough and more such evidence of cases happening, but I don't want to blow it out of proportion where we think the whole builder fraternity is doing too many of practices which are not acceptable or going away from what possibly is fair and legal.
All right, so this is something you should remember, even Jitendra who called us on the phone, that the new bill actually empowers the consumer greatly, almost to a point where it leans towards the consumer and makes the consumer's case far stronger. So you don't have to worry. Once the regulator and the new appellate tribunal comes in, you will no longer have to worry about a battery of lawyers or going into court against a developer, because you will be in a position of strength in comparison to the developer. And that is true. A couple of other things you must know about the new bill. It offers you as compulsory across the board a 5-year warranty on the home that you buy. So in the first 5 years, if anything breaks or cracks or leaks, the developer is required to fix it at his own cost, and that is a massive move that you should remember. The other thing, of course, to remember is the fact that homes can only be sold on carpet area. Carpet area very clearly defined in the bill as anything inside the external walls, including the internal walls. Uday Vavikar, we never see a legislation that goes into this much detail in any industry. This is actually a massive step of, in terms of legislation, this is a first of its kind in our country, isn't it?
Faye, I am really proud of our state for the simple reason is most of the provisions of RERA, and I was one of the presenter to the parliamentarians, 70 parliamentarians in Bombay and then in Delhi, we insisted that MOFA says carpet area, MOFA says 5 years defect liability, and they have really picked that up at the national level, which is a great advantage to the consumers. You have to maintain the building for 5 years. Anything goes wrong, the builder has to repair it. That itself is a solace. Second thing is, what you said is absolutely right, carpet area. If you see, even MOFA was then amended, but RERA has not done it so far. Is the first MOFA said the agreements must be done in a carpet area. Then the amendment came into the model agreement, very interesting, saying that you must disclose what area is your sellable area. That means the proportionate carpet area plus the proportionate areas of the balconies, proportionate areas of the lift lobbies, proportionate areas of the
shared space on your floor, comes up to sellable area.
So sellable proportionate areas of your lobby, proportionate areas of your lift, so and staircases. So then it becomes a built up area again. So therefore carpet area is what you rightly said and defined by National Commission in one of the cases of ours, Tricom Builders, is where you can lay down the carpet inside the walls.
Yes.
Not including the thickness of the wall or the outside wall, will not include the balconies, will not include the servant quarters,
flower beds,
Yes. Okay. So therefore it is very, quite specific, and it's really good to the buyer. At least he will get the area that is promised.
All right, at least you will get the area that is promised. We're going to take a quick break. We'll come back. Kuldeep Chawla also joins us with an investor's point of view. So if you're looking to invest your money, does RERA make you more powerful? Should you wait, perhaps, to buy a home until after the regulator comes in? We'll ask him that question after the break. Don't go anywhere. Welcome back. You're watching the Urban Debate on Magic Bricks now. Thank you for staying with us. Joining me on the show along with Uday Vavekar and Arun Kumar is Kuldeep Chawla. Kuldeep, thank you so much for joining us from Delhi. Kuldeep brings in the investor's point of view. Kuldeep, I have a very simple question for you. If I'm sitting at home right now watching this show wondering whether it's time for me to make my real estate investment, would you recommend that all investors or all home buyers wait until after the real estate regulator is actioned in their respective states?
So I think there are two parts to this. Part one is that the short answer is no, don't wait. I think you should start looking at things because in any case, you're not going to make the decision in the next 1 week or 2 weeks. So, A, start acting now. B, by doing that, you also get to know, which of our development community friends are more proactive in trying to use something like this to differentiate themselves and be much more customer centric. You might eventually choose to kind of pull the trigger or make the decision once the regulator is set up and some further rules and regulations come into force, including things like the rate of interest, so on and so forth. But I would say start looking now.
Well, that's a fair point, Kuldeep, to start looking now. And, even if we went out and bought right now, if it's under construction, viewers at home should remember any building that has not received an occupation certificate, so without an OC, comes under the purview of the bill. So even if you bought today, it would still come under the purview of the regulator going forward. But Kuldeep, the difference will really be the amount of information that will be available to a buyer once the regulator does come in. Do you think also that a regulator like this will help the brand of transparent builders or developers that have stronger reputations at this point?
Switch it off. No audio.
Yes, so I think there are three aspects of the bill that I particularly like. Number one is transparency, number two is accountability, and number three is efficiency. And these three aspects I think cover not just the developer community, but also the real estate agents, and I think both those sort of stakeholders are important players, so to speak, in the game as far as buyers are concerned. So yes, you are likely to get more information. They are likely to be more accountable, and I think the whole process in terms of timelines and other aspects will become more efficient once the details roll out. But this is where I think the men will begin to get separated from the boys, and I think this is where the more enlightened developers would take the high road in terms of perhaps proactively providing information that is intended to be provided. Indeed, some of them are already on request providing that, fairly proactively.
All right, so there will be a lot of information that will be available to you as a buyer once the regulator comes in, and that by itself will be tremendously empowering. So if you want to wait until that happens, you might be waiting, in all fairness, for about a year, but it might be worth it. Arun Kumar, I have a question for you. Now, of course, there's the escrow account that's been added, the 5-year warranty. To explain to our viewers what the escrow account is, all developers, when they collect money from sales, they'll have to put 70% of that in a separate bank account, in a scheduled bank, and that money can only be used for the construction of the building that they have sold, the one that you have bought. It cannot be diverted to anything else. Arun, while from a customer's point of view, this is a great regulation. It will solve a lot of problems of the fiscal, the financial issues that we've seen in the industry that has caused delays. The other thing is the 5-year warranty that we talked about earlier. My question to you is, do you believe these two moves will increase the prices of homes going forward? From where you've been working, I'm sure your team is in your office right now actually figuring out what this will mean for pricing in each of your projects. What is it looking like at this point? Will you have to increase the prices to accommodate these new two rules?
I don't believe so. See, every builder has to have a commitment to complete a project on time, and if he has to complete a project on time, he has to ensure the funds which have been collected for a particular project will have to be deployed into that. In fact, it would be a very wrong practice to divert the funds into multiple projects and make this project kind of dry up in terms of funds, and because of which slow down the project. So having said that, anybody has a very good practice of ultimately who was anyways doing this as a discipline, but now that is being enforced by the government, actually it becomes even more easier for the consumer to go ahead and take a punt on this, because when the 70% of the project's money is maintained in the bank account or the escrow account or whatever it might be, will ensure the projects is well funded, because of which the timelines of completion would not drag on the way it has dragged on in the past. So this is for sure auguring very well, and I don't think this loads any kind of an extra cost for any of the developers like us to do that. And having said that, the second part of it in terms of 5-year warranty, I mean, every builder today, when you are buying a home, people buy home for 30 years and 40 years. Having said that, to provide a 5-year kind of warranty is something we anyways as builders, individually as builders, we anyways do. So we at any point in time we are there available to kind of correct any of this kind of defects which are being pointed out by consumers. So having said that, I don't think that is also a very big cost. Even if that is the case, even if there are certain some amount of defects which should happen, because it's extremely labor driven industry, and there would be possibilities of marginal defects etc. coming up, and they are not very big cost for us to really get intimidated in terms of this whole act. I think this whole act is auguring very well for the consumers, and it is bringing a lot of discipline to the builders, and I would agree fully to Kuldeep actually when he said that actually this would segregate the people with good practices. That's what he said, when men and boys. He said with people who already have good practices and who have a firm ground actually would not get intimidated by any of these things. In fact, it would be a welcome thing, because we would possibly then shake out the people who are not following the right practices, and we would look or stand apart in the whole industry.
Alright, so it will reward, of course, developers who are stronger, who are more compliant, and the ones who are leaning towards already, giving things like 5-year warranties, and of course making sure that the fiscal prudence in their buildings remains.
Fly-by-night operators, which really come into this industry, and dream sellers will be restricted. For the simple reason, as Kuldeep said, boys will be segregated from men. Here what happens is, I will not name the builder, but I will tell you, one of the very big builder in Mumbai said that I had only 3 lakh rupees in the pocket and I did a first project of nearly 30 crores. So these kind of due diligence would fall in, and financial disciplines would fall in, because there were many developers who would collect the money and deal in money market to get at 36% at the buyer's rate, delay the project, and then increase the cost and say give me the market value. So these practices, at least once the funds are allocated, the certain amount of security comes into like a bank guarantee.
Alright, I want to take another phone call. I'm told Shushma is on the phone line from Bangalore. Shushma, go ahead. Tell us what your question is.
I'm Sushma from Bangalore.
Yes.
Yeah, I just wanted to, first of all, I want to congratulate you कि आपने, आई विल स्पीक इन हिंदी, आपका प्रोग्राम इतना बढ़िया है, इतना यूजफुल है, और मैं काफी आपका प्रोग्राम रेगुलर देखती हूँ, और आई वांट टू थैंक यू, दिस इज and I wanted to tell you that I asked 2-3 people like a builder, what price are you giving according to now era, like carpet, they said no. So I want to ask कि क्या मान लो बाद में हमने अभी ले लिया स्क्वायर फीट जिस तरह से भी दे रहे हैं, क्या बाद में वो रेट रिड्यूस करेंगे उस हिसाब से? एक क्वेश्चन तो मेरा ये है, और दूसरा ये, मान लो प्री लॉ हम कोई प्रॉपर्टी लेते हैं और किसी वजह से हम नहीं ले सकते हैं, तो बिल्डर कोई जेन्युइन रीजन हो, क्या बिल्डर हमारे पैसे वापस लौटाएगा या नहीं?
अच्छा, तो आपका पहला क्वेश्चन ये है कि अगर आपने अभी खरीद लिया और फिर बाद में पता चला कि कार्पेट रेट आपका कम है, तो क्या रेट कम हो जाएगी? उदय वावेकर, आई डोंट सी दैट एज
करेंगे उसके हिसाब से नहीं, या नहीं करेंगे?
शायद नहीं होगा। उदय वावेकर, आपको क्या लगता है?
अगर आपने एक पर्टिकुलर रेट में एग्रीमेंट एग्री कर लिया बिल्डर से, आई एम पर्पजली इन हिंदी, एंड उसके बाद अगर आपको मालूम पड़ा कि वो रेट रिडक्शन हो सकता है, मेरे ख्याल से तो नहीं हो सकता है, डिपेंडिंग ऑन द मार्केट अगेन, बट वंस यू हैव एंटर्ड एन एग्रीमेंट, द एग्रीमेंट्स आर नॉट री-रिटर्न, एटलीस्ट एज फार एज द प्राइसिंग इज कंसर्न।
तो अगर वो एग्रीमेंट कार्पेट एरिया पे ना हुआ हो तो?
Correct, that is a point, Faye. If he puts the agreement on the built-up area or sellable area and not the carpet area, his area gets reduced. He'll have to give refund with interest and compensation.
He will have to give a refund.
This is not only that. One good thing for her more is आपके लिए एक अच्छी चीज है कि ग्राहक कानून ने आज कहा है, अगर एरिया कम है, 1000 स्क्वायर फीट का फ्लैट अगर 800 ही है, तो आपको 200 स्क्वायर फीट का मार्केट वैल्यू मिलेगा।
Market value with interest. With
yes,
interest.
compensation.
So सुषमा, ये तो अच्छी बात है कि अगर आपका ये अगर कोई केस हो तो आपको मार्केट वैल्यू भी मिल सकती है और मार्केट वैल्यू के ऊपर इंटरेस्ट भी मिल सकती है. उदय, उनका दूसरा क्वेश्चन ये है कि अगर उन्होंने प्री लॉन्च पे कुछ खरीदा है एंड फिर उनको अगर वापस करना है, if she wants to give it back to the builder and get her money back, is there a provision in the new law? Please go ahead, have some water. Is there a provision in the new law that allows her the possibility to get her money back?
बहुत ही अच्छा सवाल है, गुड क्वेश्चन. पॉइंट इज नाउ प्री लॉन्च प्रोजेक्ट्स आर कंसिडर्ड टू बी इलीगल. वन, so which is good for you, you can get the money if the projects have not been completed, full money with the interest or proportionate market value also. There are orders in the consumer courts. Apart from that, that deduction which is on an allotment letter, because agreements are not done in a pre-launch projects, there are no registered agreement done, it's an allotment letter, most of the cases I am saying. She can definitely get the refund if the projects are not complete, and in case she wants to
in case she
cancel,
has just changed her mind.
He's changed her mind, she wants to cancel, then the conditions of cancellation, the question comes is conditions of cancellation. If there is an unfair deduction in the condition of cancellation, she'll get the money.
All right. So it's very clear, Sushma. In the new law, the regulation is very clear on when you can cancel and how much of your money you will get back, and there are conditions there that have to be met on either side. So depending on the case and depending on what your case is, of course, you will get options within that law. But it is a law that
I would
favors
add it,
customers.
most of the pre-launch project also had a buyback option.
Yes.
So if that buyback option is there, इनको मिल जाएगा पैसा.
इनको मिल जाएगा पैसा.
As per the buyback act.
Sushma, thank you for.
एप्लीकेशन साइन कर दिया तभी भी मिल जाएगा.
हाँ, तभी भी मिल जाएगी अगर if you meet the conditions.
सतिंगी कि मैंने लोकेशन नहीं देखी, जैसे प्रोजेक्ट की लोकेशन नहीं देखी है और मैंने बुक कर दिया, मैं बैंगलोर में, मैंने दिल्ली का कोई बुक कर दिया और बाद में जाके देखा कि वो लोकेशन बिल्कुल मेरे लिए सही नहीं था, तो उस में और मेरे को किसी चैनल पार्टनर ने बोल दिया कि आप एप्लीकेशन साइन कर दो जैसे फॉर्मेलिटी एंड साइन इट, लेकिन उसके बाद एक बिल्डर मुझे तंग करता है, नहीं हम नहीं दे सकते, तो उसके लिए बस पूछना चाहती हूँ.
देखिए सुषमा जी, अगर आपको लोकेशन गलत बताया गया था तो कोई मिसरिप्रेजेंटेशन अगर हुई थी तभी आप कैंसिल कर सकते हैं, लेकिन अगर आपने लोकेशन ना देखा हो और आपने सही तरह की होमवर्क ना किया हो तो वो बिल्डर की गलती नहीं है. उदय बाबेकर,
I agree with you, because once an registered agreement is done or proper contract is done on both sides, I think it is binding on the both sides, and it will be difficult for her to wriggle that out unless she takes some expert advice like us, where we can file some loopholes in the entire arrangements and help her out. But
I really
otherwise
wish you wouldn't do that. I mean, this is something I want to reiterate to all of our viewers. It's on you to do your homework. When you're making a decision that is this big and involves this large amount of money, you should take the responsibility to do all your homework. Now, the government can only go so far as to offer you regulations, as to offer you information, but the responsibility to do your homework lies on you. Kuldeep Chawla, what's your advice?
1 minute, I'll interrupt you. I agree with you, because people for a small thing goes to various consultants and doctors and even to the press and the pundits, but when you buy a home, you don't consult a lawyer. I think you have to consult a property lawyer, do proper due diligence. That is important.
All right, consult a property lawyer. Kuldeep Chawla, of course, and I want you to second this as an investor.
Add something here.
Yes, please go ahead.
So Faye, I'd like to. May I?
Yes, please go ahead, Kuldeep.
Hello, can you hear me?
We can hear you.
So I two things, two things. Number one, with regard to the discussion we were having a minute ago, I just like to make a quick point, which is this. Whilst the law is very good and protects the consumer, I'd like to urge the government and the lawmakers to also make it fair. I think it behoves us that we should look at all stakeholders. The development community is also a stakeholder. They should also have protection that if a contract is validly entered into with me as a consumer and I have had all the information and the opportunity, then I should honor my part of the contract, right? So that is one part. The second was with regard to a question you were asking and I couldn't hear you. Could you repeat that?
All right, we're gonna take a very quick break, but something I must remind all of our viewers of. Of course, we will have a regulator that will look after our interest, but getting a lawyer to look through your papers, getting a financial services expert to look through your EMIs, and getting an architect to look through the plans is something you have to do on your own. There's only so much the government can do to protect you. Quick break. We'll come back. We'll talk more about the new regulator and the impact on us as home buyers. Phone lines remain open. Don't go anywhere. Welcome back. You're watching the Urban Debate on Magic Bricks. Now, this is India's first property channel. I'm Faye D'Souza. Thank you for staying with us. Now, of course, there's a big move in the real estate industry. We now have a real estate regulator. I want to remind all of our viewers, while the regulatory bill was passed by Parliament, by both houses of Parliament, it now needs to be adopted by notification in every single state, and every state will then have to set up a regulator with a chairman and two full-time members, plus set up a court that goes with it that will exclusively only hear cases about real estate. Now, Uday Vavikar, a lot of the, like we started the show with the budgets of Maharashtra and Karnataka, a lot of the state governments are in their budget sessions as well. Do you think it's possible that any of these states might be able to notify their regulators before this session is over, or are we looking at a 6-month wait before the next session of Assembly?
I wish I was a Chief Minister of Maharashtra. But the point is, that's a question. I feel that will be after the budget, because provisions will have to be made that is logical, and some states like Maharashtra, who already had drafted a regulator, they literally went, assent was taken and then it was stopped. Now yes, they'll have to fall in line, which is a very good thing, because we requested as a recommendatory committee to the parliamentarians that please stop these regulators. They are contradicting the national regulator. So sure, now they have agreed. It's a big achievement to have a
this is also an interesting thing. Now, of course, state governments will be allowed a certain amount of leeway to interpret the larger regulatory bill, but they have to stay in the spirit of the bill, so they can't change too much.
Let me tell you one simple example. When the national regulator is saying that it is a carpet area, the states cannot say it is a sellable area.
Yes,
yes. So something like this is really coming uniform practice, which is excellent for the country. At least there are standard norms. Otherwise, the norms used to go. You will not know. In Bombay itself, you go to suburbs of Bombay, there was a 40 to 50% loading.
40 to 50. I've heard that went up to nearly 100% in some parts of Mumbai. But Uday, I want to take a question. Samaira has called us from Noida. She has a question right now for us. Samaira, thank you for calling us. Tell us what your question is.
Yeah, hi. I wanted to find out, there is this scheme launched by Investors Clinic, which says Byaj Mukt Awas Yojana.
Okay.
In that they are saying that they will not charge any interest from the buyers, and we will pay back the loan in 100 installments, and I can buy the house interest free.
You can buy the house interest free.
So I want to understand what exactly is this scheme, and how will I benefit, and why would
anybody give out a scheme like this? Well, I must tell you, I haven't particularly looked at this scheme in detail, and unless we do, we won't be able to comment. Uday Vavikar, what's your response to
My response is always stay away from this tempted offers, because the offers are normally like this, that the one who will buy my cat for 1 crore, I'll give him a house in 20 lakhs. So please take proper due diligence, check the records of the scheme, see what the exactly scheme means, whether they are watertight, discuss with a proper lawyer, and do your due diligence. I think that is required. Otherwise, people get tempted like 251 rupees phone.
Yeah, Samaira, I must tell you, of course, any sort of scheme like this or any sort of loan like this will come with a thick document which you will be required to sign. Ask for a copy. If you're really tempted, ask for a copy of that document beforehand. Run it past a lawyer. Have a lawyer look through it and pull out, and somewhere in the fine print there will be a clause somewhere, because there really isn't, in the financial services sector, there really isn't a free lunch, and there's no such thing as 0% interest. I'll promise you that, across any sort of loan. So it does make sense to take a very, very close look at the financial document. We'll, of course, on this channel also look closely at that particular offer that you talked about, and we'll tell you what we think and what the fine print is. But the advice stands the same to anybody who's listening, whether it's financial services or it is buying a home. If you see an offer, there are clauses and conditions that come with every offer. Have a lawyer look through it. He'll be able to tell you whether or not it really does make sense for you as a buyer. Kuldeep Chawla, the NCR market, particularly where you are right now, has faced, tremendous issues when it comes to developers. Arun will smile to know that, the market in the south is far, far simpler, far, far cleaner than what it is up north, especially in the NCR region. What is your advice right now to someone who's looking at a delayed project, someone who's looking at a project that's not possibly going to come up for possession anytime soon? Should they be filing with Consumer Court, waiting for the regulator to come in, trying to maybe offload that project? What advice would you give someone who's worried right now?
Three things. Number one, unless you really need the money and you think things are going downhill from here, regulator, no regulator, don't sell, because it's like trying to catch a falling knife. Number two, that if you are thinking about sort of taking action, two aspects. Number one, form an association or join one that may already exist. You will get collective knowledge, you will get information, you will empower yourself to make the right decision. The second aspect is, my kind of dice or suggestion would be weighed in favor of waiting, unless there is reason to believe that by waiting, you stand to lose something. Because chances are that, once the authority is set up, the rules are sort of, put into action, chances are that in the next 6 months you will be better equipped. You will not lose your legal right or your options, but you will be better equipped and potentially, I definitely say you'll be better empowered, to either individually or collectively enforce your rights. That would be my considered.
That's a really interesting answer. That's a really interesting answer. Wait until the developer comes in, the regulator comes in, and then buy a home, because you'll be far more empowered as a customer to do so. Arun Kumar, I want you to answer what Kuldeep asked, which is there any way I might lose out by waiting? And the only way I could lose out by waiting is if the prices go up in the meantime. In the next 6 months to a year is the time limit that it will possibly take for regulators to come into action, at least in our big cities. Do you think that there's a possibility that waiting until the regulator comes in will be a disadvantage in any way, or would you also recommend waiting?
I wouldn't believe anybody has to wait. The regulator, the bill is going to come and it is there for it to stay. Having said that, actually today, if they are finding, today the market has been flat for quite some time, and if they can find some good buys in the market, and who knows, possibly a lot of builders who possibly believe a real estate regulatory bill could possibly, bring in a little more tightness, could offer the properties at a much better prices. So if that is going to be the case, I don't think there's any need for them to wait. If they find a good buy, and if they know that the builder has a logical repute of delivering consistently, they should go ahead and buy it. And post the regulatory bills, anyways, they would enjoy the benefit of it. I don't think waiting is going to create such a platform for any home buyer to get a lot much higher value than what it is. What it is going to do is they're going to ensure he's being shielded from any kind of bad practices, from commitments which are not being honored by the builder, and so on and so forth. If that is not going to be the case, actually really waiting, actually I don't think so would serve any purpose. They should go ahead and make their purchase if they find a good buy.
Another risk is projects could be sold, flats could be sold to the third parties, and there are many examples where flats are sold and projects are sold. Then you are nowhere, then you are in the litigation.
Alright, Kuldeep, you want to add something to that?
Allow me, Faye, to add. Yes, I do. So I think there are two, there is just one very simple point. The short point I was trying to make is this. Yes, you may, actually the price may even go up while you wait, but I think you've got to ask yourself the question that when customers see value today, why are they still sitting on the fence? By and large, my limited experience of interacting with consumers and buyers, not just in the NCR, but indeed across major metros in the country, tells me that they have very little confidence that the project will get delivered on time. And if you look at the one of the key provisions of RERA is actually to do with timely delivery.
Yes.
So I would even say this at the risk of sticking my neck out. It is better to wait a bit, and it might be 3, it might be at most 6 months, you know, for you to see an upturn in a particular project's price. And one of the reasons that you might see it is a more proactive, you know, developer, where you are better off buying a slightly more increased price but better chances of you getting your project on time.
Very interesting analysis there
Think
by
about it.
Kuldeep
What
Chawla,
you
who
give
says,
away
yeah,
with a little price increase.
right. So Kuldeep Chawla is basically telling us this: if you want to wait
Because
until
you
the
can never
developer
time
comes in,
markets.
yeah. If you can wait until the developer comes in, you'll probably be
If I
looking
may
at a
just get
slightly
in for a
higher price,
minute.
but it'll be worth it. Arun Kumar, you want to add something?
Yeah, I just want to add one thing. See, what
And
would
that's the
happen is if
judgment
assuming you're
call,
going to wait
you
for a
know,
little
which
longer time,
project, very specific.
and
Go ahead, Arun. Go ahead.
if I may just get in, see, if you're going to wait and if consumers start waiting, there's going to be a bent up demand which is going to put enormous pressure when the RERA comes in, and then a lot more people suddenly crowd the market, and the builder would again get into the belief that the market is raising up, and they would start pushing the price up. I don't think that should be the case. I mean, you'll have to see the overall cycle as to how the real estate pans out. And you should keep buying. If everybody suddenly starts believing RERA is going to create such a big comfort for them and security for them and stop buying at the moment, at any point in time when it does really come in totally, and all those people are suddenly going to rush to buy, and that would start pushing things up, and even the builder would suddenly get into the illusion the market is picking up, which is not the case, and that is not happening. So I would think you should just go with the flow. If you find a good buy from a safe builder who's consistently delivered, you should go ahead and make the purchase.
All right.
And I would beg to
Okay, I have
disagree with
to
Kuldeep on
close
this,
the
that
show.
I would not want anybody to wait.
All right, I have to close the show. Of course, Arun is going to disagree with that. He's a developer. Kuldeep saying that you might want to wait until the regulator comes in, but you will most likelihood be looking at higher prices of good, solid developers when the real estate regulator comes in. A good developer with a good reputation will have the elbow room to increase prices. The other ones might not, but then you shouldn't be interested in that inventory anyways. We've run out of time. I'd like to thank all three of the gentlemen who joined us on the show. Thank you so much for spending time with us. Email IDs are on your screen right now. Get in touch if you have feedback or if you have a question. Stay with Magic Bricks now.